Hey everybody, Paulie Walnuts here, and I want to thank you all for tuning in, subscribing and liking and watching. This is episode 9. But before we get into the episode, I want to go ahead and give a big thanks and shout outs to our sponsors, because without them, none of this would be possible. We're going to start off with the first supporter of the podcast. That would be Mad Axe Decks, custom made and shaped skateboards by a local skateboarder right here in North Florida, Duval County, Dalton Maddox, 100% Canadian hard rock maple. In my opinion, best damn decks you can ride. You give him your dimensions, you give him the shape you want, or shapes you're inspired by, and he knocks them out. But don't take my word for it. You should definitely check him out yourself. Grab one for yourself and grip it and rip it. You can check him out on the gram at mad_axe_decks. That's MAD_ACTS_DECKS. Next, I'd like to give a big thanks and shout out to Overcast Fishing Apparel. It's tattoo-inspired design, freshwater and inshore saltwater. It is for anglers by anglers. It is all made by a good friend of mine here in Jacksonville Beach, Florida, a tattoo artist, Bob Presson. If you're into tattooing, the tattoo culture, the art, or if you're a fisherman or a fisherwoman, I promise this is the brand for you. You definitely want to check them out, and you can find them on the gram at Overcast Fishing Apparel. No underscores, dashes, or dots, just at Overcast Fishing Apparel. And finally, we'd like to give big thanks and shout out to Pomeroy Woodwork and Design. Traditional craftsmanship, custom design, cabinet making, crown molding and trim, furniture refurbishing and repurposing. You can check them out on the gram at Pomeroy Woodwork Design, and you can email them with any inquiries at pomeroywoodworkdesign@gmail.com. That's POMEROYWOODWORKDESIGN @gmail.com. They're amazing. You should check them out. And right here, local North Florida. Now, for my guest this week, super accomplished artist, muralist, Nicole Holderbaum. She goes by her artist name is Nico. She's spearheaded a lot of the art in murals going on around town here right now. They've actually been working on a collaborative mural right there at the Old Plush on Arlington Expressway. It's going to say Arlington. They're rebranding that whole plaza right there, College Park Plaza. It's amazing. You should definitely check it out. But she came to hang out with me and Sid, and we sat down, talked with her about art, how she got into it, her nonprofit, the Kids Mural Project, the Color Me Kona events, and much more. You won't be disappointed. It's an awesome conversation, and without further ado, here it is, episode 9, Paulie Walnuts and Sid sitting down with Nico. Enjoy.
It's Beyond the Pod.
You're listening to Beyond the Pod.
Yo, let's go.
You're listening to Beyond the Pod.
Hey guys, it's your boy Paulie here, and I'm super stoked to have my guest that I have this week. It's a very, very accomplished and amazing artist. She does these breathtaking murals. Nico,
Hi.
welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for taking time to come hang out and sit down with us. So start off kind of what I do with everybody. Where are you from? How old are you? Give us a little bit of your background.
I'm actually from South Florida, and I've been here for, I think, 9 years. I moved back for a year and a half, but I've been back for a while now. And I'm 29. I just turned 29.
Oh, nice.
On January 1st.
Nice. Last year, your 20s.
Yeah, almost 30.
Yeah.
It's about to start getting good, right?
Oh, no, the 30s. Yeah, the 30s are definitely awesome. I was scared of them, but I've enjoyed them a lot. Whereabouts in South Florida?
West Palm.
West Palm.
Yeah.
That's what's up. I got a lot of family down there.
I went to Dreyfus High School of the Arts.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask, how old were you when you started getting into art?
Well, when I was 5, I went to art camp in
Yeah.
the summer. My parents sent me to all different kinds of camps, which I'm so grateful for. And art camp was, I guess, it was one of my favorites because I always went. And then eventually I would just only go to art camp all summer.
Yeah.
And then I went to middle school of the arts and then high school of the arts. And I think it was really just my parents pushing me or helping me, seeing that I liked it or was good at it and
had a talent, trying to help you flourish in that talent. Yeah.
Because I don't really remember being like, I love art, I need to do art, but maybe I was, I don't know. But in high school, I kind of lost interest in it. I didn't care. I had been told by multiple different sources that you can't make money as an artist.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's the old saying, the struggling, starving artist.
Yeah, which I don't understand. That's such a lame stereotype because I'm not starving. I just worked really hard and I'm smart and I did whatever I needed to do to learn what I needed to know and I'm successful. It's the same in anything that you pursue, So I don't know the struggling artist thing or starving artist.
Yeah,
I never have starved,
Nice.
I've always had other jobs, whatever I needed to do
to make the dream happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's this guy, David Goggins, that I follow, and he's used to be really overweight and then eventually became a Navy SEAL, and he's super motivational speaker and stuff now. And he says one thing he always says, nothing of greatness gets accomplished by being a bitch. Put in the work.
Yep.
Yep. And that's basically, it's you got to just, buckle those boots up and put in the work to get what you want. So I guess you were about what college when you decided art was kind of going to be the path that you really wanted to pursue?
Yeah, I went to UNF. I chose UNF because in high school and early college years, I was surfing was my thing.
Yeah.
Surfing was my whole world. That's all I cared about. I would paint on my surfboard and stuff like that, but again, I never considered myself an artist. It's just something I did. But I wanted to go to UNF because of the surf community here. I visited Jacksonville and I went to Jack's Beach and I was oh my god, Jack's Beach is so cool.
Yeah.
It's funny now, how I used to look at Jack's Beach and how I look at it now. I still think it's great, but back then it was
it was new.
Yeah. It was amazing. And so I wanted to come to UNF so I could continue surfing. And I actually, kind of stopped surfing not too long. I surfed for, maybe a year and a half, after I moved here. But then it was really cold. And I'm not, good with cold or wetsuits or any of that stuff. So I just kind of,
let it fall by the wayside a little bit.
Yeah, and then I had my mindset on becoming a Spanish professor because, at first...
Do you speak Spanish?
Yeah.
Oh, sick.
At first, I thought I was gonna be a physical therapist. I don't know why I thought that. I'm not good with chemistry and biology and all that stuff, which I soon found out through my college education. I was this is not for me. And then I have been going to Costa Rica since I was 13 to surf. And that's kind of I learned Spanish in high school, and then it kind of learning it in high school and using it in Costa
going
Rica,
and being immersed in the culture for a little bit. Yeah.
So I'm pretty much fluent. So I was I'm pretty much fluent, and I'm interested in the psychology of education. So I'm just gonna be a Spanish professor. It seems like a pretty legit career. I can make decent money.
Right.
So that's the career I was going for when I basically dropped out. But I just had an overloaded, not even an overloaded, I don't know, school was easy in high school and middle school and so on, but in college I just I wasn't passionate about it, so I didn't prioritize it properly, and I just had a tough semester with my living situation and as well as my courses, and it just kind of was this whole culmination of I'm just moving home.
Right.
I'm just packing up and I left.
Yeah.
So I just finished this semester and I just went back home, and I worked for a chiropractor actually. It's funny because I had been trying so hard to get a job in Jacksonville, and I couldn't get a job besides I was working at Jimmy John's.
Yeah.
I worked at Jimmy John's for a long time in South Florida and Jacksonville. So like Jimmy John's will always be a part of my life.
Oh, I love Jimmy John's. Yeah.
Well, he's not a great human being. I
No,
don't
I know.
support Jimmy John, but I love.
The sandwiches are
Yeah.
dank.
Yeah. So, but as soon as I got back in South Florida, this is kind of one of the things where you're like, this is was meant to happen.
Right.
I got a job right away with a chiropractor in Jupiter, which is close to West Palm. It's like the beach where I grew up, basically. And that was like an amazing experience. It was actually 2 chiropractors, and they taught me about all kinds of things, including the law of attraction, which is like very important in my life and helped me a lot. And so I started practicing with like affirmations and like everything, you know, like once you start getting into the law of attraction, like I had like multiple journals. I would like print out pictures of things I wanted and all this stuff. And one day I just was like, I'm good at art. I should just do art.
Yeah.
Like I can't be a chiropractor's like office manager forever. Like,
Right.
so then I just kind of was ramped up the commissions. I was doing a lot of commission work, random paintings for random people. I got screwed over a few times, like people just like didn't pay me. Now I'm good with like everything, I know how to operate, but and then
There's definitely a learning curve for sure.
I was doing a lot of work for people in Jacksonville still, and I still had all these friends in Jacksonville, you know, so I would like come back and visit all the time, and I would deliver all these paintings, and then eventually I just decided to move back.
Nice.
And I guess I left out the part about how I did t-shirt designs for Strata.
Sick.
And that was a long time ago. That was when I was still in college, when I was like on the surf team, and I met Jason Rodriguez from Strata for the first time, and I did a few t-shirt designs for them, and that's kind of part of what brought me back to Jacksonville. And then I just moved back here. I got a job at Alice Pizza.
Yeah.
And
which one, at the beach or?
Yeah.
Sick.
I didn't like it. I liked it, but one of the managers there was like, she hated me. I don't know why, and she was so mean. I was miserable. She made me cry. I was like so unhappy.
That's how it be
there.
in the restaurant industry. So, dude, it can be so savage. It's almost like high school.
I never understood. I was like, what did I do to you? Like,
Yeah.
Why do you hate me? Like, I'm sorry that maybe you're upset with your life, but why do you have to take it
Threatened
out
or
on me?
jealous.
Anyways, but
Yeah.
I got 3 jobs. I had 3 jobs at one point, and I was doing art on the side.
Hustling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I like working. I like feeling productive.
Right.
And when you figure out your purpose and like where you want to go, and you have that drive, then it's like the recipe for success, basically.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, so I know that you've done a couple of events kind of surrounding skateboarding and such, and it's like, what is like your connection to skateboarding? When did you kind of get into the skating culture? Or did it just kind of always go hand in hand with the surfing and the art and everything?
Well, actually, in middle school, I went to, maybe even elementary, but I'm pretty sure it was middle school. There was a community center by my house.
Right.
And it had a skate park attached to it.
Nice.
And I would go there after school, you know, before my parents got home. They told me to go to the community center, so I would go there. And there really wasn't much of a community center, so I just, like, hung out at the skate park, and I met friends that I still have to this day. And that's kind of where my connection began. And it's
Cool.
been, like, a natural connection since then. Like, I'm not an amazing skateboarder or anything, but I enjoy it, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
It's super fun whenever I do prioritize the...
Yeah, and it's not about being good or the tricks you can do. It's just honestly about having fun. Like, at the end of the day, it's just a useless wooden toy. But let me switch topics a little bit and ask you about the kids mural project. And, like, how did that come about? How did you get that going?
So I actually wanted to participate in One Spark in 2015, which is not the first year. I think it was like the 3rd year maybe. And I wasn't really sure like what to do, you know, what project I was going to do. And I remember, because Sean Thurston, who's like an incredible muralist from Jacksonville here, like one of the best in the city for sure, He won in a previous year, and I kind of knew him a little bit, and so I asked him if we could meet and I could like ask him some questions. I think I don't have a great memory, so I'm like
It's all good.
vaguely recalling.
Yeah.
But we met, and he basically told me like I should do something that was like for the greater good, like a bigger purpose.
Right.
And I was like, well, I want to paint murals in schools. So my project it had a terrible long name, Art for Jacksonville's Youth and Beyond.
That's a
like
mouthful,
the longest
yeah.
bad name, but I went hard and I almost won. I'd like to think I got second place, but I was like top 3.
Nice.
And I didn't win, but I met a lot of great people. And so if I did win, I was going to use the money I was just going to go paint murals in the schools.
Right.
To kind of like promote my project, I had this wall that my friend Brent from Black Hive, who is an amazing mentor for me. It's funny, I have a lot of mentors that are not art related at all.
That's cool.
Like he started Black Hive CrossFit at the beach, you know, that cool little building that's like on 3rd Street.
Yeah.
And now he has like multiple Black Hive CrossFit locations all throughout Jacksonville, St. Augustine.
Nice.
But he had this wall that I guess he had used for some promotional thing at some expo, and he let me use it. And this was like the first kids mural I ever did, and the zoo had sponsored me in the project. So every day I would do like an outline picture, like a coloring book of endangered species, which like was the zoo connection,
right.
you know, and we just would put out the bowls and the kids would paint, and by the end of the day it was just mush, like nonsense, like you can't see anything. And we did that for 5 days. We would paint over it every morning and do a new mural, and then I also built like a massive wall like on the side of Hemming Plaza with like, you know, how I build those walls. Like I had another wall on the top, like what do you call it, another like plywood, you know,
like another 4x8 sheet basically.
Yeah,
an additional 4 foot,
an 8-foot wall, and then another 4 feet. Like I was insane.
Yeah, 12 foot tall. That's dang.
And I didn't finish it.
Yeah,
but you know, whatever. At least I went for it. But during One Spark, a guy from, I think his name was Joshua Rhodes from the Parks and Rec department, came up to me and said that he wanted to do the kids mural as a part of their summer program called Summer Night Lights in some of their community centers. And I was like, okay. So we did it, 3 different community centers, and that was the first time I ever worked with underprivileged kids, or like even experienced underprivileged neighborhoods.
Right.
And it was so eye-opening. I was like, oh my God,
yeah.
Like I can't believe this is like
some kids' reality, you know?
Yeah, it was like the very beginning of my like understanding of all that, and just going into neighborhoods in Jacksonville where you've never been. And I know a lot of people have lived in Jacksonville their whole life and will never go into these neighborhoods and see the reality of life for a lot of people in Jacksonville. Like it's bad. Like there's a lot of unfortunate situations in Jacksonville. And one of the things, you know, I try to do with my art and everything is just use art to bring more positivity and etc. But I did the three different locations with them, and then there was a grant from the Cultural Council called the Spark Grant, and it was meant for projects that would ignite the Spark District of downtown, which is like Hemming Park and kind of right. around that. So I wanted to do the Jack's Kids Mural Festival, which is crazy. I did 4 of these huge festivals in 1 year. Like,
whoa.
What was I thinking? But it was amazing, you know, like, and I had never done an event before, like, never threw an event, never organized an event, never did anything like that. And they just trusted me with $10,000.
Wow.
For this grant. Like, I got the grant. But it was really successful. I did 4 great events. The first event had 2,000 people that came out. So
sick.
Yeah, I just went hard and I asked for help, and, you know, I asked my mentors.
That's a big thing, is being able to ask for help, because a lot of people let their pride, or just like, I don't know what it is, get in their way. People are afraid to ask for help a lot of times, especially when they need it.
Yeah.
So you might know, you might not, but how many murals have you done? And how many murals in Jack's have you done, if you would know, or a guesstimate?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
With the Kids Mural Project, we painted 30. in 30 different schools.
Whoa.
Yeah, so I did the festival, and then at the beginning of it, I realized that like doing the festival, like not all these kids would have access to actually get to the festival. So I was like, okay, I need to do an outreach program, and that's when the Kids Mural Project started. I got a grant for that, and I was gonna go to 40 schools and paint murals, and I chose specifically Title I schools, which are schools in underprivileged neighborhoods.
Right.
And I soon found out that 40 was a lot, and we ended up, I think we did 27 in 1 year, and then like from then we did like a few more, and we've done a few more since then. But yeah, so definitely at least 30.
Wow.
With kids.
Yeah.
The kids designed it, and then I have no idea like how many I've painted around Jacksonville. It's hard to keep track.
Yeah. No, I feel you.
Maybe like 20.
Sick. I love all of the art and everything that's starting to really pop up around town. And I just saw like there's a petition right over here in over here in Murray Hill, that they want to do a welcome to Murray Hill with a Bill Murray.
Yeah, it's already underway.
Is it? Okay, I just saw like there was a GoFundMe or something, or because some people didn't want it to happen. I'm like, dude, that's so sick, and just stuff like that. It seems like every time I kind of look at a building, it's like I'm seeing a new kind of piece pop up, and it definitely makes you smile.
Yeah, Jason Tetlack is doing that. He runs the Murray Hill Mural Project, which is why there's so many murals in Murray Hill.
Awesome.
I have a mural in Murray Hill. It's one of the biggest murals I've ever painted. It's
Which one?
Huge.
Where is it?
It's hard to see. It's like kind of hidden by a tree. It's on a Christian home for the elderly. How do you say that properly?
I guess.
Something like that. When I first started the mural, they were freaking out. They were like, what is going on? They called the cops. They were like,
God.
There's somebody graffitiing the wall. But yeah, cheers to Jason. He's a go-getter. I really admire him.
That's awesome. And now this might be another tough question. Do you have a personal favorite mural that you've done? Is there one that really sticks out where you're like, I love that one?
There's one I did. This one just like pops up because I just, you know how Facebook reminds you of your memories.
Oh yeah.
So there's one I did like maybe 2 years ago now. Maybe it was a year ago, but it's actually Val. You know Val, the photographer.
Uh-huh.
She was my like muse, or my like I had pictures of her, and it's just her eyes, but I had like the lighting was like really unique, but it's actually Shawana Brooks, who's like a leader in our arts and culture community, was working at the library for a long time, and Banksy, there was this like traveling Banksy piece that was going around the country, and it was coming to the public library here in Jacksonville, so she organized a whole showcase of Jacksonville like street artists to kind of like accompany that piece. So I had a mural in the library with Banksy's piece, which is pretty cool. I admire him a lot. A lot of street artists are like, yeah, Banks is lame, like Banks is so like mainstream. Like, I think he's a genius. I'll never hate on him. But that's probably it just popped up in my memories, and I think it's my favorite because she had walls installed like at the Phoenix Arts District, and anybody could go paint whenever they wanted, and then it would be displayed in the library.
Rad.
So it was like one of the first like really kind of experimental pieces I did, and it was really fun, and I really loved it. And yeah, I think that's one that stands out right now.
Nice. So whenever you kind of, how do you go about like starting a project, and like kind of implementing it? Because I mean, do you involve the city, or do you just involve the homeowners or the business owners, or whoever owns the wall or the building? How do you go about getting approval and then kind of getting it started?
It's different for every situation. Like literally every situation is so different. I don't involve the city because there's so much red tape with anything that's involving the city.
Yeah, I bet.
It's very inefficient in terms of like public art and, making public art happen. And anyways, I just don't really, I just try to do things like on my own.
Yeah.
Every project's different. Like I just did a mural project in a neighborhood in Newtown, which is called Kings Ridge Apartment Complex, which is like one of the most troubled neighborhoods in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, it's so troubled that they had to change the name so that, it has different.
Yeah, start to get a different reputation, hopefully. Yeah.
Something like that. And the city actually put out some anti-violence grants like a year or so ago, and I of course applied for them, but I didn't get them because I guess my grant writing skills aren't professional, but I tried, and I still actually got to participate because the Jacksonville Community Coalition received funding from that grant program, and they activated this community center that's in the Kings Ridge apartment complex, and some of my friends were participating, like Giella was working with them, and they had an idea. There's like a long wall in the back of the community near the community center, and they thought it would be cool to do murals. I actually forget exactly how it came about, but basically I went to go check out the wall, and I had actually been in this neighborhood before because I knew the owner from the Murray Hill Project. Anyways, I was like, yeah, this wall is perfect, but it needs to be like pressure washed and primed and like fixed up and everything. So they did it. The owner did it, and then I organized like 20 or something artists to come out and volunteer their time, and a lot of artists like want the opportunity to develop their mural painting skills, and also like they obviously want to give back. I don't like asking artists to do things for free, but there are situations where like it can be beneficial for them. Like I've done so many things for free, so many things. So that's kind of one example. If it's like a private home, then I just work with the homeowner. If it's like for the current one we're doing in Arlington, the wall at College Park, they're Prime Realty and JWB Companies actually has been planning on like renovating this whole plaza as like a means to kind of catalyze change in the Arlington
revitalize
community.
that area.
And they're members of the Arlington Council, and the Arlington Council is like a group of people and residents and building owners that like wants to revitalize Arlington. And one of the people that's a part of the Arlington Council is Brian Bush, who's associated with BMW, and he kind of connected me with Alex Sifakis, which is JWB president, and we developed this project basically. And I'm so grateful that I was connected, because I'm always like, local artists, like we have to invest in local artists. Like so many art projects, like big art projects that have happened in Jacksonville, just don't go to local artists, and it's like mind blowing to me. Like I don't get it. Like how are we investing in our local arts community if you're paying people from other places
to come here and do it?
When there's people here
support
that are capable.
Local. Come on.
I mean, it's great to have inspiration. Have like visitors come in and contribute, but especially if there's no like opportunity for our local community to even connect those people, talk to them, have a discussion panel, whatever, then it's just meaningless. It's just
completely agree.
Pretty pictures on the wall. So I've always been a big advocate of getting more opportunities for local artists, because if we don't have opportunities for them, then they're just gonna leave, and that's what's happened with a lot of artists. Is they move to Miami or LA or New York or whatever. And this girl actually sent me a message the other day on Instagram, like, I love like your art. I pass by the Arlington mural every day, and it inspires me to like, never give up on my dream, and like maybe one day I'll be one of the artists painting on that wall. And it's like, that's exactly what I wanted to do.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's super cool. I mean, honestly, just everything you've done is a super big inspiration to me too, honestly, just from you giving back to the community to just how I've watched you kind of take on these events and really just make shit happen and pool all your resources, like Color Me Kona. When I was, managing at Kona, I mean, you just had 1,000,001 things going on, and somehow it all got pulled together, and it was a super awesome event. How did that whole event come about? I mean, there was a lot of people there. I've worked a bunch of big events, and we had all of our reserved parking filled up when the gates were opening. I've never seen it like that.
Yeah, it's amazing. I just want to say I'm so grateful for everyone that's ever volunteered for my events, because I definitely have tunnel vision when those things are happening, and I feel like I don't do a good job of like expressing my gratitude enough. But it came about because I had done the Jack's Kids Mural Festival, and Cassidy actually reached out to me saying that she wanted to do something with the Jack's Kids Mural Festival at Kona, and so it kind of just developed from there. And it was so cool. Like, definitely the first year was amazing, of course. It was more like family kid focused, and
Right.
then the second year was really amazing because it was like right after we did the We Rise Festival, which I organized with a group of like local artists and activists after the shooting at the landing.
Right.
I was like, what can I do to catalyze change,
Mm-hmm.
to get, to stop the violence, basically, because there's so much violence that happens beyond what happened at the landing that never
Right.
even gets covered, etc. And so we did the We Rise Festival, and we brought all these young artists from all over the city together, and they're like, teenagers, college age, etc. And that was like the first time that I had ever seen that type of like age group come together for like a creative thing. And so we kind of had that momentum from that festival, and a lot of those artists like participated in the second Color Me Kona, so we had like a more developed like performance element the second year.
Oh, for sure.
We had like a lineup of like 22 like young local performers that were each like amazing, and just the same artists, a lot of the same artists that were involved the year before came back. We had a lot of new artists. It was amazing. We had a lot of great volunteers. It wouldn't have been possible without you, for sure. And
I
then
appreciate it.
of course Cassidy and Amber helped a lot.
Let's not forget your boy Trevor.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Nothing I've ever done would be possible without Trevor.
Yeah, big shout outs to Trevor.
Yeah, he's the best.
That's awesome. So do you have any other than the college park plaza wall, do you have anything else on the horizon, in the works, coming up next?
Yeah, I have a couple things. So right after the college park, the wall at College Park is an all-girl mural wall.
Oh, rad.
Yeah, so I'm actually part of an all-women crew of graffiti writers and street artists from around the world called
Sweet.
Few and Far Women, which is amazing. It's so cool to be a part of that group. I've been able to participate in I participated in Wide Open Walls, which is like a huge mural festival that's like very highly regarded in Sacramento.
Cool.
I participated with my crew, and I also got to go to Oklahoma City to do a mural festival with them. Just went to India with them.
Wow.
Yeah, in December. It was amazing. So I've been very inspired by that, and I've been wanting to do a big mural wall with like all women here in Jacksonville, because I just like think it's really important to promote unity with women, because unfortunately, like with women, we have a lot of like competitive tendencies, like just kind of developed out of like insecurity and stuff like that. So like one step towards fixing that is just bringing women together and just being like, we're gonna be friends, we're gonna paint together, we're not like, no weird ego stuff is happening, like.
Yeah.
So there's 10. I'm included in that, but I have just so much on my plate that I'm just gonna kind of step back and just be kind of a facilitator and like organizer and make sure all the artists are like good and everything goes smoothly. So I won't really necessarily have a piece on the wall myself, but I'll like be helping everybody. And so yeah, there's 10 different artists that are participating in that, all women.
Do you guys have a wall yet? No side of town?
Yes, we do. I put out on Facebook that I needed a wall and what it was for, and my friend Elias Hyanides, he is Petra Realty.
Okay.
They have a lot of property in Springfield, and they have a gas station on Main and First or Third. I think it's Third, actually, Main and Third, and it has great walls. So he got it pressure washed for me, or for us, and we're getting like some of the plants kind of removed and getting it prepared for the girls to start, and we're gonna start that on March 14th.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Now, being that you're so active in trying to kind of make a difference? I mean, were your parents like that? Were you kind of like that as a kid, or is this just something like you said earlier when your friend kind of inspired you to do, start kind of do something for the greater good?
Yeah, I don't really know like what. I think I just saw the injustice in and inequality in when I got to like experience and be in these underprivileged neighborhoods and like connect with people that are experiencing like these struggles, and like just seeing how unfair it is. And then the more I learn about like the corruption of our history and like redlining and like systemic racism, it's just like my mom always says that we're similar in that like we have a hard time like accepting injustice, like just letting it go, like without feeling something. So I think that's what inspires me the most, is just like doing whatever I can to like give back, and not just like I do it because I think it's important, but also I want to inspire other people to do the same thing that I'm doing.
There's a great Gandhi quote: "Be the change you wish to see in the world." Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I like that quote, but I think Gandhi was a rapist, so. Oh,
well, I didn't know that, so. Well, there you go. So, you definitely seem, being that you're very in touch kind of locally, I mean, and I guess socially conscious, where do you lean politically? Do you follow politics much, or you just kind of focus more locally?
I try to stay updated and knowledgeable. I definitely go to my parents a lot. They focus on it way too much. I've definitely told them they need to like chill out before they have an aneurysm, and like you don't want to be. I just told my dad the other day, I was like, you don't want to be a grumpy old man. Like you want to, like, you need to just. He told me when he retires, he's going to volunteer for someone's political campaign. And I was like, no, you're not.
Oh, gosh.
You're not going to do that. Like, it's not in your hands. Like, you volunteer, like, you spending your time being angry and upset about what's going on politically, and that's not how you're going to spend your retirement. Like, no, it's not. I'm sorry. Obviously, like, okay, so I personally think that, like, voting matters. And even if it didn't, like, you should still vote anyways, because what if it does? And, like, you didn't vote, and I do think, like, it's just, there's a lot of, like, it's all corrupt. Everything is corrupt. It's really difficult to navigate and know what's right and what to do. Obviously, like, I'm more of a liberal because I think that, unity and equality are important to the success of our nation. Like, economics and all that are important too. Like, our economy is important, and but if we have a successful economy and we're completely divided, and we have like all these people living in poverty and all these people that are like super wealthy, like
the wealth gap is ridiculous in our nation and honestly around the world. And I agree with the voting, especially because even if you think your vote doesn't matter, just think about the many countries around this world where people don't get to vote. And it's like, so even if you think your vote doesn't matter, at least you should exercise your right that millions and millions of people around the world don't have. And it's definitely it's corrupt, and it's easy, especially with all of the media outlets. It seems like, like your dad being angry. I mean, that's what they trigger. It's what's the clickbait kind of thing. And I lean much more progressive. I heard something once where it said that was it socialism without capitalism is communism, and capitalism without socialism is fascism. And so you definitely need a kind of a balance there where like a free market and being able to thrive economically. But, I don't understand how we can invest 131, billion dollars or it was that the government is in a space force. Like, I thought we already had that NASA, when it'd take a fraction of that to get everybody to a public college.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Invest in public education.
Invest in our citizens.
Pay our teachers more, for Christ's sake.
Yeah. And I don't know, maybe it's just me being Italian American. I wear my emotions on my sleeve, but also my mom was very socially conscious and is a very caring woman, and I definitely got my empathy and my want to help others from her, for sure. And so, seeing is believing. And it's like you said, when you went to these neighborhoods, you hear about it. And it was kind of the same. I'd heard about, how rough it could be in certain areas, and then growing up, for whatever reason, I ended up in these neighborhoods at times, and then you see it and you're like, whoa, you know, and
It's intense.
yeah, some kids basically raising themselves, you know, like,
For real.
yeah, because they got one mom working 3 jobs and she still can't keep the lights on.
Like 4-year-olds raising babies.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And I don't even like leaving my 11-year-old home alone for, you know what I mean? But,
going to India was like very, very eye-opening for me, and I came back like when I came back I was like, everything is sunshine and rainbows
Yeah.
here, you know, like obviously we have our issues, like, and we have the ability to vote, and we need to like be active in that and like conscious of our privilege in having that, because things in India are a lot more difficult than they are here, you know, like
oh, I'm sure.
they don't, I don't know like how else to say it, but you know, like the artists that I connected with out there, like I have so much respect and admiration for them because they've had to like overcome so much more than I have, and
Yeah.
I just wish I could do more for those artists, like even just like I want them to come to the United States so bad. I'm like, I have walls you can paint, I'm gonna connect you with a million different people, like I'm gonna get you jobs, etc.
Yeah.
But they can't come.
Yeah.
They have to have $5,000 in their bank account. They have to have this. They have to apply for the visa. It's like impossible
Yeah.
for them to come here. So they're just stuck in India with like not a lot of chance for upward mobility, you know, and it's really sad. So I definitely came back and I was like, I'm even more inspired to like take advantage of my privilege and like do what I can to not only help but also like invest in my own career and become successful so that I can do even more to help.
Yeah, that's awesome. Did you, by chance, you know, just hearing, you know, about like going to India, it made me think of the movie just won an Oscar. This I can't remember the title, but the Skatistan. Do you know about Skatistan?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the teaching and basically empowering girls and
Yeah.
through skateboarding and stuff. I
Yeah.
really want to see the movie. I've been following them on Instagram for a long time, but you know, just even that, you know, it's like it's just crazy, you know, these little, I mean, to think about how there's places where girls can't go to school, they can't do, I mean, it's wild. Now, being in India, I mean, how was the culture? It's one thing that's always kind of really fascinated me. I mean, did you eat like the food and all of this and that? And
Yeah. With the Skatistan thing first though,
Yeah.
my crew leader, her name is Mimi. She's a graffiti writer, like one of the most legit, like iconic female graffiti writers that I've ever known. She is also a skateboarder and
Sick.
like really, she's good. She's really good, and she is like really involved in like programs like that across the country, or across the world. So she's gone and traveled and worked with programs like that. So I've learned a lot about that through her, and she does a lot of you know, girl skate stuff, so I think that's important. The one thing that I do not look forward to about going back to India, which I'm definitely going to go, is the food. The spice, like, my stomach just doesn't like it. Like, unfortunately, in my stomach, like, just, I've never felt that feeling in my stomach before. You know, it's like, like, and it's just a lot of bread and just definitely like different than what I'm used to eating here. I wish that I was like more spice friendly, but unfortunately I'm not. And
yeah,
over there, like everything is
heavily
is,
spiced.
Lasagna is spicy, like everything.
Oh gosh.
So, but yeah, it's funny because when I went to India, I learned about colonialism, and it's basically just worldwide racism and systemic oppression. Like white people just went everywhere and they're like, we're the best, you have to do our religion. So it was Christmas when I was in India, and I just like saw all these Christmas decorations everywhere, and I was like, this is weird, like I didn't expect this.
Oh yeah.
But there's like a million churches there and like a lot of people that are Christian, and that's because of colonialism. You know, there was like this epic monument that they built to colonialism, basically. Like, obviously it doesn't say that on the thing, but it was like to King George and Queen Elizabeth or something, like.
That's exactly what it was. I mean, it was a big monument to oppression and colonialism. And the interesting thing you just say about, like, you know, Christmas trees, I mean, that was actually from like ancient pagan religions. That was what they did to celebrate like Yule and the winter solstice. And it was the spread of Christianity. They would take native cultures' beliefs and they would be like, oh, well, we have a feast day too that's kind of similar to yours. We celebrate the birth of Christ and blah, blah, blah. And so that's actually how the Christmas tree kind of got melded into Christianity, and the same with the Easter bunny and the Easter eggs and all this and that, because Ishtar was a Babylonian goddess of fertility. And that's where
I didn't know any of this.
Yeah, that's where all of that symbology came from. So as Christianity spread, they were like, oh, well, we have a springtime feast day as well. It's the crucifixion and resurrection of our Savior, blah, blah, blah. And they basically kind of stole some of their traditions and implemented them into Christianity, so it was more easily acceptable, and helped the massive spread of Christianity and all of the, Catholicism and all this and that, which is quite interesting. But
yeah, it is.
It's that psychology to oppress.
Sad. I think this is like why I think that we're just one big experiment.
It feels like that at times, for sure.
Because what if animals just were in control of the earth? We definitely wouldn't be where we are now.
No.
And ego leads to the destruction of everything.
For sure.
Capitalism is a great system, and it's great that we have this opportunity to build careers and stuff like that. But then people let their ego take over, and it just ruins it for everybody.
Yep, yeah. Oh, the ego will feed the vanity and greed, and it's just all are negative things for someone personally and detrimental to our society. But hey, we've been sitting down for close to an hour now, so. I just want to say thank you so much for carving out the time to come by. Definitely appreciated it. Why don't you take a second and tell everybody where they can find you on social media?
So, my Instagram is Nico Suavelicious.
Nico Suave.
Good luck finding that and typing it. My website is Nico Suave Art. I go by Nico though, not Nico Suave.
Yeah.
It's kind of corny. I retired the Nico Suave.
And Nico's because Nicole...
My friend just used to call me Nico Suave all the time. And then
nice.
All my friends started calling me that, and they used to call me Suave, whatever. And it was cool for a while, but then I was like, okay, I need to grow up and have a more elegant vibe. So Nico is the new thing. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Instagram, Facebook, Nicole Holderbaum. Good luck spelling that one.
Yeah.
I don't really do Twitter or Snapchat or TikTok or the million other social media platforms.
Oh, it's gotten so ridiculous.
I refuse to participate in because I only have so much time.
Yeah.
And I can't do all that. I can only let my brain be sucked into my phone for so many hours of the day,
I had to put a timer on myself because I was just no, I will not be that person. Reminds me, it's yep, we're just going to be done with the social media for today. Yeah,
it's hard to balance. It's because of Instagram and Facebook, I've been able to have this much success with my career, but also it's it's hard to balance, and it definitely
will suck you in.
Yeah, suck you in, exactly.
All right, well, thanks to you guys, the listeners and watchers, for tuning in, and thank you again, Nico, and we will catch you guys next episode. Later.
Listen. Yo, mentally vexed, subliminal stimulus below the state of consciousness. Silence. The youth is at a higher risk of mute tongues and giving up and just accept the violence. That life is the way it is, and there ain't no change. The whole game is fucked up, and there ain't no flame to ignite the fire, the soul desire, a thirst for freedom, affirmative action, divide the classes. Hey yo, what's that sound? Now everybody take a look at what's going down. Shadow government, puppeteering, the media, engineering, mass hysteria, exaggerated emotions. Start to think that it's hopeless. I take a look at my sons and now I'm back on my focus. Social order, prioritized and organized by religion. Another tool for division. Hey yo, what's that sound? Now everybody look at how they divide us now. We the people, supposed to run this town. They use fear to try to back us down, but stand tough and hold your ground. Trading punches, going pound for pound and round for round. Going pound for pound and round for round. Going pound for pound, yeah. Check your teammates, crooked snakes, like to dwell within the shadows after hours. Quick to drop your name just to drop a case, picking the slack up, so motherfucker back up. We ain't the same. Ballad of a dying breed. You chase the fame, I chase the change. Come along, who's next to claim? Revolutionary warfare, internal state of mind, external world demise, no compromise. Rhythm of fear, systematic as a matter of fact. I fucking had it with these rappers, robotic actors. Systematic as a matter of fact. I fucking had it with these faggots. Saying, fuck a name in this hip hop game full of fake snakes and crisscross gangbangs. Stop, hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Fuck a name in this hip hop game full of fake snakes and crisscross gangbangs. Stop, hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Yeah. It's your boy Mentally Vexed. Sick of the bullshit. Time to wake the fuck up. Open your fucking eyes. Just cause your eyes are open don't mean you're seeing shit. One.
All right, guys, I want to thank everybody for tuning in and subscribing. If you don't mind, take this time to like, rate, and subscribe to the channel and the podcast. The song you just heard was Last of a Dying Breed by Mentally Vexed. He's a local hip-hop artist here. But if you have any questions for me about upcoming guests that I've had on, any questions for Paulie in general, inquiries about advertisements or events and booking, you can email me at paulyonthepod@gmail.com. That's paulyonthepod@gmail.com. Super grateful for everybody tuning in. It's been a blast. Episode 9. Next episode, we will be in double digits. Stoked. Can't believe it. And I will catch you guys on the flip side. Later.